The Live the Dream Media Network is proud to host an Arizona legend. His remarkable journey spans college and pro basketball, business excellence, and community leadership at the highest level. Get ready for insightful conversations, expert analysis, and a unique perspective that only one man can deliver. This is the Bob Elliott Show, exclusively on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Welcome to the Bob Elliott Show, where we try to educate and have fun and give you the opportunity to learn about my guest as a person. Now, just get one thing straight. This show has never been about politics or religion. We don't go that direction. But the goal is to give you, the viewer, the opportunity to get to know this person as a person. And my guest today is the mayor of Tucson, Regina Romero.
Hi,
Regina, welcome
how
to the
are
Bird's
you?
Nest.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Bob.
So part of this is almost like an oral history. It's an opportunity, something we do at the museum with our oral histories. Give someone the opportunity to talk about their life in their words, unedited, because you and I are both in a situation in life where you do an interview and they go for a sound bite.
Right.
And maybe 5 seconds of a 30-minute interview is all people get. So I want you to roll the tape back. Take me and the viewers back to when Regina was born, where you were born, your siblings, your parents, elementary school memories, middle school memories, high school, college.
Well, I'm the youngest of 6 siblings.
Oh, my.
I am the only one that was born on the U.S. side of the border.
Okay.
My parents we've lived in the Sonoran Desert for 7 generations.
Wow.
On both sides of the border. And so I was the first one in my family that was born in Yuma, Arizona.
Okay.
It is it's a farm working community.
Yes.
And at certain points during the winter, Yuma produces 90% of the lettuce that
I saw
Americans eat.
Yes, I saw that.
So it really it grew up in Somerton, Arizona,
Okay.
10 minutes away from the border, had family on both sides of the border.
Okay.
My dad, though, migrated. He was a teenager when he migrated to the United States through the Bracero program.
Okay.
The United States had a Bracero program. Really bringing in specifically Mexican immigrants to work the fields and help in industries where the United States needed hands. Okay. And so he came in through the Bracero program, did that from teenage years, and would keep going back to his hometown in Sonora. Met my mom on the Mexican side of the border.
Okay.
Married her. She stayed, had 5 kids, and then my dad would continue migrating to California. And said, you know what, we should migrate with the kids, and went through the whole process, brought the entire family, and then had me in Yuma. Okay. And grew up as a farm working family. Okay. I didn't realize we were so poor, to be honest with you, until I was preparing myself to come to college, and we did our FAFSA, our financial aid.
Yes.
And I didn't realize, oh my God, I mean, we were living in very, very low means, but we had an amazing upbringing with parents that really taught me about the value of hard work, the value of community, the value of family, of being of service to others, and really paying attention to policy and policymakers. Yes. Even though I really didn't know, the political process in Yuma, I always heard my parents talk about paying attention to the political process. Right. And, I was the first one in my family to come to the University of Arizona and graduate from college out of 6. And then, a little bit at a time, each of my siblings started to graduate from college. But what brought me to Tucson
Yes.
was the University of Arizona, and that my siblings, one at a time, had started, migrating to Tucson for one reason or the other. As the youngest one,
Right.
when I was applying, thanks to good teachers and
Yes.
counselors
Yes.
at Kofa High School.
Kofa.
And my
you-
parents
you-
always
right.
talked about, hey, Regina, we want you to have a better life, right?
Right.
It's the dream of every parent.
It is. It is.
It's a dream of every
For them to
parent.
have a better life than what we
We
had.
want our
yes.
children to have better lives than we did. And so my parents always talked to me about going to college, getting an education. My mom, I remember, would say, work in an office.
Work in an office.
Work in an office.
And do what in the office,
Exactly. She wouldn't fill the blanks, but
Right.
very honest, hardworking people, my
Yes.
parents. And I myself worked in the field, and so my parents would see that. My siblings, my sisters, my
Right.
brother, we all did. My brother served in the Army National Guard.
Okay.
Went to the first Gulf War. Is a Desert Storm veteran. When he was honorably discharged, he chose to come to Tucson. A little bit at a time, my siblings came to Tucson for opportunity,
Yes.
as I
yes,
did.
Yes. Yes.
And thanks good to teachers and counselors, they helped me apply for college, the three major universities in the state. They helped me with financial aid.
Well, I'm glad you ended up
putting
going to
it all
University of
together.
Arizona and some
It
of those
was-
other two.
Bear down. The best decision that I ever made in my life was to come to Tucson. I got here when I was 17. I
Okay.
turned 18 here in Tucson.
Yes.
And my parents always talked to me about how privileged I was that I was born in the United States. Talked to me about my responsibility to
Why
vote
did they say that they felt that you were privileged to live?
because I was born here.
Okay.
Because I was born in this country, and
Okay.
for them, this is a country of opportunity. My dad passed away almost 10 years ago, but my mom's still alive, and they pay attention, to politics a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
And I didn't really focus on the political process until I got here. But my parents always talked to me about, hey, you are privileged
Right.
for being born here.
Yes.
You're going to register to vote. You're going to participate. For all of us, for all of my siblings and my parents.
Right.
One at a time, they became naturalized
Okay.
U.S. citizens. My parents and my four sisters, my brother, because they wanted to participate in the political process. They wanted to vote.
You talk about feeling that you were a person of privilege, but nowadays you talk about people saying that they're a person of privilege has a different connotation in terms of maybe high end in terms of income and things like that. But what you're saying is it's just basic privilege to be able to be in the United States and have opportunities that you would not have had elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole reason my parents worked at, really immigrating the entire family was to give them that privilege
Yes.
of going to school in the United States
Yes.
and making a life in the United States. And so for them, me being born in the U.S. and having the privilege to vote and participate civically was an important, very, very important responsibility that I have.
Exactly.
And so I always grew up feeling that it is a responsibility, mine,
Yes.
that I participate in my community, that I give back,
Yes.
and that I vote. And so my siblings, a little bit at a time, like I said, started naturalizing specifically to vote and participate. And, as a U of A student, and what you learn, right? What you learn in college,
Yes.
taking history classes, and my first Mexican-American Chicano history course was here in Tucson. Unfortunately,
They didn't have the classes at
they
Kofa
did not
High?
have it in high school. They did not have
That's
Chicano
amazing.
Mexican-American studies in
Kofa High is I don't know. What is the racial makeup of Kofa High? Was it
Well, at the
heavy
time, we had a big
Latin?
percentage of Latino kids at COFA because it's an area where our neighbors were all farm working kids,
Right.
and then in the Yuma area, we had a big percentage of people that worked in the base
Yes.
and formed the community, but it was a big percentage. I would say Somerton is like 98%
Wow.
Latino. And so, but we didn't have that opportunity. I had that opportunity here, and that class, even though that some people claim that it radicalizes people, it actually taught me, wow,
Okay.
I am part of this country.
Yes.
I have a history here, and I have a responsibility to fulfill the dream, right? The dream that my parents wanted me to
Yes.
fulfill, the dream that Martin Luther King
Right.
wanted for all of us, equity, justice, and participation
Yes.
into our society to make it better.
Yeah.
And so it really opened my eyes to, I have a responsibility, as my parents always said, to make things better.
Yes. Yeah.
And I felt as though through policy work and electing people that believed in that, in the American dream
Right.
of having opportunity for all, that really lit a fire in me. And that's how I started volunteering for a long, long time.
Right.
To my community in many different things. Domestic, I was like on the board. The first board that I ever joined was the Southern Arizona Center Against Sexual Assault. I was appointed by the late Congressman Raul Grijalva to the Metropolitan Education Commission, a city and county commission that works on education. And so, and working in investments
Right.
and prevention of violence and investment in education, I've always thought that was important. And education for me, by the way, really changed the trajectory of not just my life,
Right.
but my family.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
When
'cause
I
you'd be the
when I
first
got
one
that
and
diploma, when I got the U of A diploma,
you show your siblings, hey.
and I showed my siblings, look, I can
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
And by the way, I can get paid better
Right.
because
Yeah,
of this
because of this.
diploma.
That's right. That's right.
And it took me a long time because I had to work myself through college.
Yes.
It took me 8 years to get a bachelor's.
Yeah.
Because I was going part-time, but I
you
never
kept
quit.
your eye on the prize. And
I
said, "I'm gonna
never
get
quit.
there."
I never quit. And worked myself, worked with Pima County for the longest time, putting kids to youth employment programs.
Right.
I was the program coordinator. Then I worked with neighborhoods with Pima County, Neighborhood Reinvestment Program,
Right.
a bond-funded program. So 10 years in Pima County, I helped Karen Newley get elected because I was also participating in different voter registration campaigns and candidate campaigns. I just kept myself busy. When you're going to school, you're young, and you don't have kids.
Right.
You can
No
do
kids
a
yet.
lot.
Early on, you talked about how you were not raised well off, but at the time, you didn't really know that till you got older. And that's a phenomenon. I know, like with myself, okay, I didn't realize that we were living in an 800 square foot house. I go back to that house to look at it now. Now, yes, I'm a big individual. I'm 6'9". My dad was 6'6". My mom was 6 feet.
Wow.
I'm 6'9". My brothers are younger than me, but one ended up being 6'9", the other one's 6'3". How did all of us
Fit in there.
fit in that 800 square foot house?
Yeah.
But at the time, it seemed to work.
Well, and as kids, you grow up, we had food at the table.
Yes.
We had a healthy relationship with my parents. It was 6 of us. It was a 2-bedroom trailer.
Right.
2-bedroom
Bedroom
trailer. that we lived in. And, we're just happy kids.
Right.
And we were well fed. We had family. We had each other. We
Yes.
ran around in the neighborhood. And we were just happy kids.
Yes.
Not until later do you figure it out. Oh, my God.
How did this, later on you're
still
like, wait a minute.
I take my kids. I take my kids to the trailer where we grew
That's
up.
funny.
To this day, that it's a trailer park.
Yes.
To this day,
Mm-hmm.
the trailer where I grew up is there.
Right.
The streets are still not paved.
Right. Yeah.
Right? They're dirt roads, and I tell them this is where I grew up.
Right. It's funny you say that because you're bringing so much back to myself. Every time I go back to Ann Arbor, I go by that 1101 Minor Street, 800 square foot house. There's still a family, 2 houses down that are still there.
Wow.
But it just seems like a grounding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is where I came from, and this is where it is. So growing up, you talked about high school at Kofa. What about elementary school? Any memories about elementary school?
I went to O.L. Carlisle School in Somerton, Arizona. I grew up there from kinder to 8th grade.
Okay. How many kids were in that school?
I don't remember.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was all the kids from Somerton.
Okay.
And the Cocopa Nation. And, I had some great teachers, that I still remember to this day.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith in 3rd grade and
Yes.
Mr. Bohan in 6th, that Mrs. Griffith would just be so amazingly positive. And she would sing in class and, taught me how to sing, be happy, happiness.
Yes.
And
That's the word right there.
Happiness, yeah. And 6th grade, Mr. Bohan encouraged me he said he saw some leadership qualities in me.
Okay.
And encouraged me to run for student council.
All right. Okay.
And I ran for student council.
Okay,
Yeah, I was the
okay.
secretary of student council. And, and 7th, 8th grade, we still had junior highs, right? The junior
right,
high
yes.
was 7th and 8th grade. And, it was happy times, even though we all lived as kids of farm workers. Many of us worked in the fields with our parents during our December, Christmas breaks. I remember I used to hate Thanksgiving break, hate Christmas break, because our parents would take us to the fields.
To work.
To work.
Everybody else is talking about time off, and
right.
you're like, oh,
we were like, no, we have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the fields with our parents, and help out.
Right.
And so when I graduated, went to Kofa High School. It didn't really start thinking about college until my counselors were like, Regina, I think you're college material.
Okay.
You're a smart kid, and didn't really think of myself, yeah, that's true. What I knew for a fact is that I did not want to continue working in the fields.
Right, okay.
I knew for a fact.
That is not the option that I want.
That is not the option that I want. That's right.
That's not the option. You said that is not
That's
the
not
option.
what I'm going to do.
You had a big emphasis on not.
Exactly. I am not going to work in the fields forever. That's what I knew. And, my parents, especially my mom, would always tell me, like, you know how to do it. It is honest, hard work.
Yes.
But we don't
but.
want you to do this forever. And so I knew what I did not want. My teachers helped me think through what I wanted in terms of college. They helped me through it, and I got accepted to the U of A and ASU. And for me, it was an obvious decision to come to Tucson and the U of A because my family was here. My siblings were here already.
Yes.
And so I landed here, and it was very funny because a few months later, as I said, I'm the youngest. A few months later, my mom told my dad, I'm not going to stay in Somerton.
Okay.
I'm going to follow my kids to Tucson.
Okay.
And you can stay here if you want.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with
Mama
my kids.
has spoken.
Exactly. And my dad had to be like, okay, we're going to Tucson.
Yeah,
And
following Mama.
we found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house in South 12th Avenue in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And we rented it, and most of us went to live together as a family again.
Yes.
And, from there, one by one, like one of my siblings got married. The other one was like, I can't live here anymore.
Right.
A little bit at a time until we bought a house in Midvale Park. And then, we continued, our family continued growing.
Right.
I graduated from the U of A. I was working at Pima County, and I decided to buy a little house, a little car. That's the dream, right? That you think about when you're growing up.
I want to be a homeowner and have a car.
And I bought a tiny little, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Right.
It was a little patio home.
Yes.
Lived with my sister there for a long time until I got married.
Right.
I met my husband, who, by the way, is also from Somerton.
Oh,
but I
did
met
not
him
know
here
that.
in Tucson.
Really?
We met in Tucson.
Okay, all right. So how did that, did you not know each other at all in summertime?
Well, he's 9 years older than I am. So by the time that,
Oh, yeah, 9 years is a
grow,
lot. Yeah, no.
he was already in Tucson for a long, long time by the
Right.
time I got here.
Right.
And I met him through parties, and
You said that kinda
he
quietly.
invited my family. Though he invited me and my sisters, my brother, to participate in an election.
Okay.
And a candidate that he truly believed in.
Okay.
He was already involved in politics, and I said, I like that, and that's how I started. Just by volunteering many, many years.
Yes.
I volunteered to register people to vote. I volunteered for different candidates. That's how I met the late Congressman Grijalva.
Right.
His wife and entire family, Adelita.
Yes.
I've known her for a long time.
Yes.
We've grown up together.
Right.
And really, I've had more than 25 years of political participation in Tucson. This is my home. This is where I've had my 2 beautiful children,
Right.
Emiliano and Luciana, and it's my life. I live for this work.
Yes.
I love it because there's lots
Well, it
of
comes through.
yeah.
It comes
When
through.
and it takes a long time
Yeah.
to make some change.
I'm not only a content person, but I'm a tone person.
Uh-huh.
Like when I read something, I read it first for content,
Yes.
then I read it for tone.
Yeah.
But, you talked about the people that were influential back, like counselors and teachers. Have any of them come up to you since you've now become the mayor and said, we thought this would be, or have any of them come forward?
Yeah, I my high school counselor, still Mrs. Thode.
Right.
Mrs. Clark was another counselor that I had, and lots of high school friends.
Right.
They're like, we would have never imagined.
Right,
I
right,
would have
right.
never imagined that I would have, gotten to be the mayor of Tucson
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
Like a young Chicanita from Somerton, Arizona, native Arizonan.
Native, yes.
Coming to Tucson with like 2 cents in my pocket.
Right.
And becoming the mayor. And we made history.
When your counselor saw you, my parents were educators, and I know that people that work in that industry, it's not about the paycheck. It's about having an opportunity to make a difference in a child's life and to see, you progress on. I know it had to be a very emotional moment for the counselor too, as well as you, because okay, you influenced me enough to the point where I kept going.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And like you said, educators really do it for the love of teaching and seeing what education does to the minds of young people and young children. And so, being able for the educator to believe in you and see something and say, you have something, you have this, right? And keep working on this, and and you can do it. It's very important. That's what I think teachers are going to go directly to heaven.
Yes, yes.
I
No
think they
question.
have
Yeah.
a ticket to heaven.
That's right. That's definitely true. You, a question in terms of at what point in your life did you feel like instead of being the person volunteering and being a part of a system, did you feel like maybe I could be a leader?
Well, it's just like the same story that with my counselor, right? That they saw something
Right.
like you should do this. I had been volunteering 8 years, 10 years for other candidates,
Right.
and then the first campaign I ever got involved in was for Tucson City Council Ward 1,
Okay.
the Ward 1 council candidate. 12 years later, that individual, Jose Ibarra, decided to retire.
Yes.
It's hard work.
Yes.
At that time, it was not paid well.
Right.
And so he's like, I need to move on. Understandable. And I started talking like, we need a woman to run. We should get a woman to run for this seat.
Right.
And people turned around. And I got friends calling me and saying, I think you need to run. Because we started an organization that was called Las Adelitas.
Okay.
Las Adelitas were soldiers, women soldiers during the Mexican Revolution.
Okay.
Their leader, their colonel, was called Adelita. I'm not sure the last name.
Right.
And all of the women soldiers were called Las Adelitas.
Okay. Okay.
So we created an organization called Las Adelitas. We believed in empowering women and getting them involved in the political process. I had been their first elected chair. I co-founded the organization.
Right.
And so by the time,
Elected chair, again, leadership.
elected chair, and by the time that, that Ward 1 council seat was going to be available, people started calling me like, you work on this.
Right,
You
right.
know politics. You have good politics. You should run. And I didn't really think about me running until people started saying, I think you should run.
Right.
And so
And you were willing to.
I was already married.
Right.
I had a 12-month-old baby.
Oh.
And my husband was like, you shouldn't worry about the baby.
Right.
We'll cover the
figure it
baby.
out, yes.
We will figure it out. We will, we will help. And yeah, sure enough, I said, okay, well, let's do it.
Yes.
I ran for Tucson City Council, won in November of 2007. I became the first woman to be elected in Ward 1.
Right.
There had never been another woman
Right.
in Ward 1 on the city council. First Latina ever on the
Yes.
Tucson City Council.
Yes.
And then, and I served for 12 years. I can't believe it. And
Looking
I was
back, you're like,
looking back, it was like 12 years. And at the, I was really thinking, maybe the 12 years is good. I've done some good stuff for
Right,
Ward 1.
right.
Thinking really of I had to work. I had to have another job because it didn't really
yes.
pay the bills. And so I'm
Two
like,
kids
maybe
at home, and
two
yeah,
kids
yeah,
at
yeah.
home. And maybe it's time for me to like move on. And then at that time, after the 12 years, I was really seriously, I had another amazing job working environmental work, which I am very passionate for. And Jonathan Rothschild decided to retire.
Oh, yes.
And the
yes,
same,
yes.
again, the same thing happened to me. Like people started calling
You're
me,
right, right.
you need to run for mayor.
Yeah, but see, you were willing to take that step. So hearing you share your story, you've always seemed to me to be a person that's willing to pitch in, help out, a doer, a worker bee. But there's a difference between it being a worker bee and being the leader.
Yeah.
And I'll look at my own wife. I mean, she is the ultimate worker bee.
Yes.
But to try to get a lot of people say, well, why don't you become the president? She said, no, I like being behind the scenes and working, and the worker bee. And even to get her to become the executive director for the African American Museum of Southern Arizona was a lot of pitching.
But look at the amazing work she has done.
Oh, no question.
She has
no
stepped
question.
up and
yes.
has taught all of us how to lead beautifully,
Yes.
especially grounded in in service to the public.
Yes. Well, it looks like you've made that part of the transition of it's almost like two different skill sets to be the worker bee that's
Yes.
fitting in with everybody.
Yes.
I'm in back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, is this also going back to Thanksgiving weekend and Christmas weekend where it's like, hey, I got to go in there and pitch in with everybody else.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the worker bee.
That's exactly right.
But then somebody has to be the leader. And you definitely have made that transition. It's beautiful.
Well, and my husband has always been there to cheer me on and
Yes.
to encourage me.
Yes.
He's the behind the scenes.
Right.
Like I'm behind the scenes.
Right.
And my family, my kids have grown
Right.
in public service. They have to, and I always tell them, like, you are the, son and daughter of an elected official. Like, you have a very distinct spotlight that other kids your age might not.
Do not.
Do not.
Yeah,
And it, it's a family sacrifice that we do. Because of course, as you well know, you're a public figure. You're not liked by all.
Yeah. No.
And so you've got to put some of that to the side. Don't let it bother you, and do as your constituents, the people from Tucson, for me,
Right.
no matter their political affiliation, I want to make sure that we're working for that quality of life that they deserve. And so that's a responsibility that I take very seriously. But I really have found my calling. I do
good.
love to serve the public. I love it when we do. When those long projects become a reality. We just were at the 22nd Street Bridge groundbreaking, like when we deliver to the community. And many of these projects take a long, long time. That's when I say, okay, this is what we live for, right?
Yes, yes.
Delivering a good quality of life, either through infrastructure, through parks, through public safety, through transit, through so many things for our public that they deserve, and that it takes a long time to deliver sometimes, but those are the days. And my favorite piece of my job is spending some time with kids and youth at schools. Like when I get invited to schools to present, to talk to them about my life, like you are right now, and hearing from them is one of the coolest pieces of what I do.
Well, Regina, it's very obvious of your love and passion for our community.
Thank you.
And I think that's what looks like pushes you to keep doing what you do. I want to thank you for coming on in the Bird's Nest.
Thank you.
And being a part of the
Enjoyed
show.
it.
And hopefully now people will know you more
Thank you.
as a person, not what you may read or see or hear, whatever. So we've had a great time here with Regina Romero. Next week, we'll be back on the show at 9 a.m.